Hi, everyone, and welcome to Campground Confidential, a podcast about starting, running, and growing your campground business. I'm Stephanie Puglisi. On each podcast episode, we'll talk to campground owners and other experts in the outdoor hospitality industry. We'll hear stories about what it's really like to own a campground, the good, the bad, and the ugly. From Park Vendor Review, this is Campground Confidential. My guest today on Campground Confidential is Maddi Bourgerie. She's the Senior Director of Communications at RVshare, and she's also the company's travel expert. She has worked in the industry for a decade, visited almost all 50 states, and rented more than 20 RVs. She's dedicated to the company's mission to help travelers experience the magic of an RV adventure. Maddie has RV'd on the East and West Coast, checking off national parks and music festivals from her bucket list. Her career has been dedicated to sharing her passion for travel. And today I'm having her on our show to talk to campground owners about the ins and outs of having people rent RVs at their campground, or maybe have RVs delivered to their campground. I see campground owners asking each other all the time about their policies for this, how they're handling campground rentals. This is not going away. The industry of peer-to-peer RV rentals is only growing. So Maddie's here to talk us through the best practices for inviting and hosting guests who are renting RVs at your campground and RV park. So welcome to the show, Maddie.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. I'm really excited to have you on the show today to talk with one of those talk about one of the most important topics for all of the campground owners out there, which is making more money, right?
Exactly.
It kind of keeps everything moving. So that's great. So tell our listeners a little bit about RVshare.
So RVshare is the largest RV rental website across the US. So we're a peer-to-peer platform where we connect RV owners with renters looking to rent an RV. And we have more than 100,000 RVs listed on our site, and more than 60,000 owners are the ones listing their RVs to rent.
So most of the time on this show, we're talking to campground owners. And oftentimes when we think about RV rentals, we're really not paying a lot of attention to the campground space, right? We're like talking about RV sales, and we're talking about the RV industry, and we're talking about RV owners and people who are potential RV owners. But RVshare released a travel trend report for 2024 a few months ago. And one of the major takeaways that RVshare was, putting out there was that deliveries of these RV rentals are showing quite an increase, right? I think it was like a 14%, correct me if I'm wrong. I think there was a 14% lift in bookings for people that requested delivery to the campground. And when I saw that statistic, I thought, this is going to impact campground owners' operations, and they should probably be prepared to see more of this at their campground. And then sure enough, I started to see in all the campground owner forums, people saying things like, what are you all doing when people show up and they're renting RVs? And how are you handling this? And are there things I should be concerned about? Are there insurance issues that I should worry about? So I wanted to have you on and we can talk about both of those things, right? Any concerns that campground owners have about this situation, but then also why they should embrace this 14% number of deliveries, right? Like why it can be a potential good thing for their business. So let's just dive into the benefits. Let's get the good stuff going, right? What is RVshare saying to campground owners about why this is a good thing for their business?
Yeah, I think when, RV rentals kind of came online, RVshare has been in business for 10 years. And of course, it was just a way to let owners rent out their RVs when they weren't using them, so that we weren't sitting in storage or in their driveway. And it also opened up a world in which people could try out RV travel without the overhead of having to own an RV. The majority of the RVs on our site are travel trailers, but the most popular to rent are drivables, because the quintessential RV trip is that, road trip with multiple stops. And it turns out that a lot of travel trailers, a renter doesn't have the way to tow the trailers. So in about 2018, I believe, we came out with a way for RV owners to deliver their travel trailers, so tow them themselves, to a campground so that the user, the renter, could just show up and experience the RV without having to tow it or drive it themselves. And a few years later, as we all know, the pandemic hit and a lot more people turned to RV travel to experience it. And rentals was the perfect way to either do it for the first time or try before you buy. And people were really looking towards RV rentals and figuring out that staying in a travel trailer at a campground allowed you a larger option for your family or group. And it also was very hassle free and hands off. So getting the RV delivered is almost 40% of our bookings now, whereas before it wasn't even an option. So it's definitely a growing use case, and it's something for campgrounds to seriously consider, how to handle that. But I think what most importantly RV rentals are doing is kind of breaking down the barriers for people to try RV travel. And it's bringing in those new users into the space. And so positioning the RV rental experience and the campground experience in a good light is just welcoming these new folks to this market and growing the segment. So I think it's really important, to be accepting RV rentals and accepting those people who are looking to try it out.
And you all actually created a program. Like, so I think you saw this, right, as an issue. Like, how do we partner with campgrounds in order to help sort of facilitate this for everybody involved? So just briefly tell everybody, what does your campground partnership program do, right? Why should a campground partner with RVshare?
We launched the Campground Partnership Program 2 years ago because we did see this gap in the market. We, as RVshare, are facilitators of the RV, and we don't, you know, have that second piece to the puzzle, which is where are they taking the RV and
Mhm.
where are they parking it. And so we are looking to bridge that gap between renting and providing good ideas for campgrounds and where to go and how to stay. So within the Campground Partnership Program, we wanted to be able to build out a group of campgrounds that we recommend to our users, and also for the campgrounds to then vice versa recommend RVshare to their guests and people looking to come to stay at their campground. So it's definitely a two-way street, and the reason we decided to launch this program. The best part, it is free, and some of the perks that come along with the program is it gives campgrounds the opportunity to reach our renters. So,
Mhm.
we have hundreds of thousands of people who are part of the RV Share community, and these campgrounds get access to that, and we promote their campground to our users. There's also a additional revenue option by referring users to book through RVshare, and you get a kickback from that. So there's also a way to just make some extra revenue by joining our RVshare um, campground partnership program. And I think in turn, overall, it's just going to help increase reservations to your RV camping spots and definitely just make you stand out as a top campground for RV rentals.
So if somebody is on the RV Share, let's like look at both sides of this coin. If somebody's on the RV Share website and they've decided to book an RV, at some point in the process, RV Share is surfacing campground recommendations that are sort of in the area or vicinity of the person who's doing the rental. Am I understanding that correctly?
Correct. So on our listings, there's a way for the local like RV owner to recommend top campgrounds in their area. So that would be a place where we would then recommend our partners to be part of that. We also have top campground pages on RVshare's blog that are highly trafficked and visited. We also put paid promotion behind those pages and things like that. So you're just at the forefront of our like itinerary building marketing.
And so for those campground owners that are struggling a little bit with like SEO or anything, then that's probably just a good link opportunity, right? A link building opportunity right there because you all have quite a bit of traffic. So just getting
Great
their
point.
campground on there is just a little bit of a bonus in all of this too.
Yep.
Okay. So then on the other side of it, if they're in this program and somebody's on their website, searching for accommodations and they're looking at the cabins maybe, or they're looking at the different options, that campground can say something like rent an RV and have a clickable link that would allow them to rent an RV and go to that campground in a rental. Am I understanding that right?
Yep. So when you sign up for our partnership program on our site, our team will then send over information of how to sign up for a program called Tune, which is like an affiliate marketing
Mhm.
program. And then it'll give you a specific link for your campground to put that on your website or maybe in a marketing email. And if somebody uses that link and clicks on it and then comes to RVshare and book, you get 8% commission. And an average booking on RVshare is about $900. So that would be an average of about $72 per booking. And so also on the other side of the marketplace, we also have RV owners. So if you have a lot of people who are traveling with their RV and are coming to your campground and own, but maybe don't get to use their RV as much as they once did, or they're looking for an opportunity to rent it out, if they click and find out about listing their RV through your campground, you also get a referral bonus in that sense as well.
Okay. So that's great, right? Free money, like just
Mhm.
okay. You're serving your clientele and getting a little bit of a kickback for co-marketing. Awesome. That's always a good thing. But let's talk some numbers here. Are y'all able to actually track how some campgrounds are seeing the benefit of this from a booking perspective?
Yeah, so we have some great top performers that are our top performing campgrounds that are really sending a lot of bookings to our VShare. So one of those is Camp Margaritaville in Auburndale, Florida. And they refer about like 10 RVs a month to RV Share, 10 customers a month to RV Share, and get that kickback there. But they're also just really integrating it within their marketing through their email. They also have signage within on their check-in desk. And what this has allowed them to do is just really open up their campground for rental. So it's a rental friendly, delivery friendly destination. And they added that to kind of like a reason to come camp with them. And I talked to one of their directors there, Beth, about just how they're managing those rentals and how they allow those people to come in. And I think when they can, whether it's booking through their online booking portal or if somebody calls in to book, they're just asking if it is a rental. And if it is, what is the owner's phone number and name? Are they getting it delivered? So they just include that information in their reservation notes so that whoever's checking in this customer understands that it is being delivered, and that both parties, then the owner and the renter who are coming to check into your campground, know the rules of when check-in is, when checkout is, and that the RV would have to be, checked out by a certain point and picked back up. So they have just a better grasp on RV rentals and how to handle those at their campground.
So I think that's really important for like that soft customer service aspect, right?
Hmm.
So what they're recognizing, it sounds to me like, is that somebody who's renting an RV may need some information that people who own RVs don't need, right? Like almost like a little bit of hand holding through the
Hmm.
process of being at the campground, like new RVers, right? Like they just may not know the gig, right? Like how it all works. And by asking that question and incorporating that in their traditional check in process, they're able to give some of that additional support to people like People always joke like in the hotel industry, like checkout time is like, you know, just a suggestion or something, where for people in the campground industry, they feel like it has to be a little more firm because they need to do things before someone else who's coming in, right, is getting to that site. So, like, just kind of encouraging people to kind of understand those things is probably important. Now, something that I saw brought up a bit in some campground owner forums was the issues of insurance and liability. So, can you speak a little to both of those concerns of people that really haven't interacted with rentals before?
Yes, very important that these renters are properly insured. And I think just going back to anecdotally what Beth said at Camp Margaritaville is, they are looking and kind of vetting these companies, these rental companies, and making sure that they are reputable. So
Mm,
RVshare is a nationwide peer-to-peer platform. We have built-in RV insurance, and that allows us to vet every renter that's coming through. We are looking at things for like ID verification, if they have any, driving records, and making sure that, they're a good actor on the platform. And the same thing on the owner side as well. We're also, vetting their VIN numbers for their vehicles. So there's a full verification process before we even let them book the RV. And then throughout the booking flow, there is a mandatory insurance sign up. And so through that, every renter is required to have insurance and protection in case anything accidental happens. And this includes the RVs that are being delivered. Just because they're delivered, damages can still occur.
mhm.
And so we want to make sure that they're properly insured. Along with the RV insurance, we also have campsite liability coverage. So I think that will reassure a lot of these
Say it
listeners.
again, Maddie. Campsite
Campsite,
liability coverage. Okay.
exactly. So that is making sure that everything that they could be doing on the campsite or property insured there. And so if they are being delivered, the owner rolling in the RV is covered. That coverage also then extends to the renter that's checking in to stay. So yeah, I can't harp enough on that. RVshare is a professional platform that really has our bases covered when it comes to making sure this person is verified and insured. And that third thing that we offer is just a rapid response to accidents or repairs. So the renter is, when they rent on RVshare, is getting a ton of marketing materials through our communications about what to do if there is an issue. And there's two options. We're also, putting this in the hands of the owners. This is the owner's vehicle. So if something happens, it's their issue to resolve. Like if the generator goes out or something, it's they're the first ones that the renter should
Mhm.
be calling to mitigate an issue. If it's something that is out of the owner's hands for some reason, there is a hotline to get rapid response for someone to come up to make a repair, or really figure that out for the renter. So that really shouldn't be falling on the campground owners. Responsibility to help these people through their rental experience. It is, we are really trying to um, arm our renters with solutions that come back on the owner or RV share.
Now, it sounds like that might be another reason why Camp Margaritaville is it's Auburndale, right? Is
Yeah.
is is collecting that owner, information too,
Hmm.
because then that loop closes, right? In case anything
Yeah.
happens, they also have the contact information for the person who's actually responsible for that
Right.
vehicle.
And yeah, and I think, when I had said that Auburndale like vets the um, rental sites that they welcome, there are like a lot of different ways you can
Mhm.
rent RVs. So if you were to Google like RV rentals in your area, you'll see the bigger players like RVshare, but you'll also see some local dealerships that rent out or local fleets and things like that. And so Auburndale is saying that they vet those local fleets and other ways that you can rent, and just make sure that they're very clear about where they accept rentals from. And RVshare is like their number one provider because they know we do have those systems in place to take care of these renters.
That's such a good point. I think obviously I experience most of these things from the camper side of things. And I
Yeah.
have, in fact, rented through RV Share. And I even rented out a pop up for a while just to get the experience. It wasn't like a big part of it, wasn't a big business or whatever, but it was just for a couple of years doing those rentals for people to get the experience of something that I believe is is a growing market segment. I don't think that
Hmm.
this RV rental thing is going away. Um, but it's just such an interesting point that I hadn't really thought about because I've only ever interacted with the larger RV rental companies or
Hmm.
sharing, economy companies. But that is something that probably the campground owners that are listening to should think about, right? Yes, you're saying RV Share makes sure that people are properly insured and
Hmm.
they have this information about the owner and everybody's vetted. But that might not be the case if somebody's just doing it on their own through Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or something like that.
Right.
So maybe that's a deeper level of the policy as people are building this out. Like, what do they want to allow on their property in order to make sure that they're covered?
Right. And I think too, going on RV Share or searching in your area for where these owners are listing, and then also just getting familiar with who's renting out their RV. I know a lot of campgrounds that have reached out to the local RV owners that are renting out their RVs for one way or another, to whether they're looking to make that relationship so that that owner refers their business to the campground and says,
Mm,
I prefer to deliver and have you rent out at this campground rather than the state park down the street. I have a better relationship with them, and I think you'll have a good experience. So almost having them be like ambassadors for your campground, and also building that relationship of trust so that
mm.
when these owners are coming and bringing renters, it's going to be a great experience for all parties involved.
That's such a great marketing tactic for any owners who have open spots, right? You're like, okay, I'm only at 80% capacity or whatever your capacity is
Hmm.
right now. And you really are trying to fill spots. That's honestly something I wouldn't have thought of from a marketing strategy to get on those rental sites and reach out to those owners and say,
Hmm.
hey, recommend our campground, maybe even make it easier and say things like, you can come in 2 hours ahead of check-in time and set up the camper for the people early or
Hmm.
something like that, right? You could probably make it because I know that that can be a pain point for people
Hmm.
delivering is like waiting till the check-in time. And then the people that are renting want to get camping and you're sitting there and setting it up and everything. So maybe adding like that layer of ease for the owner who's renting would get
Hmm.
you more business.
Yeah, great idea.
All right. All right. So tell me more about what is coming around the corner from RV Share and their partnerships with campground owners.
Yeah, so RVshare is about to launch a new listing type. So we're welcoming park models onto our site, coming very soon. So your audience is the first to hear of this. I think our since delivery is such a growing segment, our renters are really inclined to stay in these glamping type of experiences, and we just know that their preferences will line up well with park models, and we already, have these relationship with campgrounds that are welcoming rentals, but also have these stationary units on site. And so it's kind of a full circle moment where they can now list the park models they have on RVshare, to get more of those renters coming to their campground to experience staying on site.
So these are the actual campgrounds that are listing the park models, not just campgrounds that have sort of owners on property with their park models.
Correct. Yes.
Wow. Okay. So are you limiting the type of accommodation? Is it just RVIA certified park model? Or are we seeing covered wagons and glamping tents coming up on RV Share? Like this is this is a big step outside of the box for y'all.
So this is just going to be models that have a VIN number.
Okay.
So they will just still be ones that are, park models at this point.
Okay.
But I think, glamping is definitely something where you're seeing the industry move towards, and we're not ruling that out. So never say never.
Okay.
But I think it's just, if you have accommodations with a VIN number, we can get those on our site super easily. We have listing coaches that are super awesome and helpful to getting those listings up and running. And we're excited to welcome that on RVshare.
All right. So I know there's a lot of campground owners right now experimenting with different OTAs, right? And putting some of their inventory on these different booking sites out there. So RVshare has an established traffic, right? And you guys have people searching. So this is another place that people can put that inventory on. Very exciting. I can't wait to see how that segment grows for y'all.
Yes, me too. I think it's awesome.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Maddie, for coming on and talking a little bit more to our owners about how they can, I would say, right, embrace the RV renter, right? I know that it can be a little frustrating to deal with people who don't know all the rules of a campground or don't understand how to operate their whole RV. But I also think it's important to remember that if we want this to be a healthy, growing industry, that we really always need to embrace the new, the newbie on the block. And I think this renting is one of the primary ways that people are, experimenting with this lifestyle. So it's important what you guys are doing. I love this partner program since it offers support for campgrounds feeling comfortable and also financially benefiting from the arrangement. So for all those reasons, I think it's a great thing to share with our listeners, and I appreciate you walking us through it.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks so much for having me on.
No problem. And we'll have you back to talk about how the park model rollout's going sometime soon.
Sounds good. Thanks so much.
All right. Thanks, Maddie. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Campground Confidential from Park Vendor Review. If you are a campground owner, operator, manager, or employee, make sure to sign up at parkvendorreview.com to search for vendors, read and write reviews, and access our library of resources. If you are a vendor in the outdoor hospitality space, head over to parkvendorreview.com and claim your listing today. We'll be back with another episode of Campground Confidential, but until then, visit us at parkvendorreview.com, where we make vendor decisions simple.